I welcome you affectionately for this little disciple meeting. Are you also a little tired, or is everything? I must say, it's like a marathon. I take part in some of the sessions and give some of the sessions, but then I'm just so busy the whole day. But I'm happy that you are all here and that we can have this little meeting. Hare Krishna, unser Brahmane kommt. Also ich sehe dich immer dort auf und ab gehen und bin immer so glücklich. Also die Chanten, ne? Ja. Ready, Govinda? Jai Jai Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Jai Jai Radha Madhava Kunya Vihari Gopi Janavallava Girivara Dhari Gopi Janavallava Girivardhari Yasodanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Govinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Oh Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Jai Gaura Nitai Jaya Radha Kanaya Lala Radha Kanaya Lala Radhe Jaya Radha Kanaya Lala Radha Kanaya Lala Radha Kanaya Lala Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam Hare Krishna. I welcome all of you who are here. This is a disciple meeting, but when devotees ask me, who are not directly my disciples if they could attend these meetings. I thought, yes, we do not wish to create another, let me say, exclusive group. The Krishna consciousness movement is already in some ways quite exclusive. So I have opened it to all of those. But please know, this is a meeting where I do hope to say some things which I would like to express at this stage of our discipleship and our guruship to my disciples, and I do think they are of general value. I'm sometimes in the difficult situation that I want to meet all of you personally, but there is limited time and limited energy also. So I do hope to say what I would perhaps sense in your life needs to be addressed in this forum. Maybe I should make it clearer. As a spiritual guide of you, I try to walk with you, next to you in your life. I know that you don't see me all the time, like I don't see my spiritual master all the time, walking with me through the different situations of the life. And I know that you may sometimes feel left alone, just like I do. But I have, on deeper reflection, understood that I'm always accompanied by my spiritual master. How so? Well, Prabhupada explained this in words, and I would like to add my own realizations. It's that we are all at every moment in our time accompanied by the Lord in the heart, from whom we get our intuitions, inspirations, and so on. And because it is this Lord in the heart, this Krishna, who's interested in all of us, he works through his agents to tell us different things. This is a subtle point. You might have to concentrate to catch it. The Lord can work through many agents. Like we can walk through nature, and all of a sudden a branch of a tree breaks so loud, and at that moment we might have thought a particular thought, and although for an outsider the breaking of the branch on the tree and that particular person who walks nearby has absolutely no connection for the person who walks by the tree and hears the breaking of the branch. There is a connection through meaning. You call this in the language the world uses a synchronicity. In the language the devotees use, you can say Krishna's arrangement confirmed. This is now confirmed, this thought. Or perhaps if you walk through the nature and the tree break, pow, like an explosion, you think, oh, I thought a Mayic thought, a nonsense thought, and I was woken up from this bad thought. Krishna works in nature through the animals. They can be like Shiksha gurus. He works in many, many ways to give us signs that for us, if we are a little spiritually awake, they sound like Krishna. They are Krishna's indication. So one way where Krishna is a little bit more clear, so to say, is through our spiritual master. He will give him the right words. I did have this in relationship with my spiritual master. When I was in Prabhupada's presence and he lectured, I had the feeling he was lecturing just for me and addressing a point I was at the moment contemplating, I was thinking about. And I think you all have similar experience. You say, this lecture was for me, as if it was designed for me. So Krishna works like this. So that's how I can say safely, yes, because Krishna has an interest in all of us, he will use your spiritual master so that he is informed or is aware of what you are going through and is telling you this. When Prabhupada left the world, before he left the world, he told us very, very clearly, I will always be with you if you let me in your heart. And so this is a wonderful basis of the relationship, and this is what encourages me, although I'm not always 100% encouraged in doing this service. It's a hard service, I would say. A service, it is, which requires me to surrender 100%. So yes, I just wanted to say, I walk with you, if you let me in your heart, I will be able to do something there. Krishna. Today I want to talk about 3 subjects. If I look at my notes, the 3, here it says 4, but I know at the moment only 3. I want to start out with a request for you to grow. There's a beautiful way the Bible expresses the need for all of us to grow. It says, when we were children, we understood like children understand. We thought as children do, and we saw the world as children. But when we became adults, we put away our childish ways. And that's from the Bible. I think this is a very, very important observation. We move through different phases of our lives, and if we are conscious of what is there to learn for us in these phases, we should grow. But many of us hold on to the childish ways of thinking and to the childlike patterns of thought, because we are really not so comfortable with the idea of progressing in life. That means ending one phase and moving into another phase. I see this in my generation of Prabhupada disciples. Many of us hold on to the past, which is forever gone. And we think, oh, ISKCON, in the times when Prabhupada was with us, was so heavenly, it was so nice, and ISKCON now, By the way, I know that at the times of Prabhupada, it was not ideal. Prabhupada would complain about us, his disciples. He would chastise our childish ways. He would say, Krishna has not sent me any first-class men. He would say, all you're good in is sex and quarreling. He would say such things to us. You will not hear this to people who are stuck in the past and who will talk as if the past was heaven. Often people ignore the reality and live just only in the memories, and the memories try to make things very beautiful, no? Oh, when the world was younger and when I was running naked through the towns, then, as children we do like this, no? Sometimes. Then everything was very nice, but it was we were perhaps even more immature than we are now. And so, but my dear devotees, change can be used, the world is constantly changing at every moment. You can use it in your favor by growing and learning, or you can oppose the change and be sad that things of the past are no longer the way they were in the past. But you must always know, there is no single one thing that is punished more severely by nature than the sin of resisting change that is meant to come in your life. If you resist, and you don't want to learn, and you don't want to grow, then often you get illnesses, you get problems from others, and you are not moving in alignment with Krishna's will. No, this is very important. I would like to give you a comparison, and somehow it came up when I talked today with a very nice Grihastha couple who are, like all of us, work in progress. There I compared the life which constantly brings change upon us with an experience of my childhood. I used to go to, as a child, I lived a life on an island, a young boy, a very restless young boy, and I would play very, very long, till it was, the greatest difficulty was to get me back from playing and bring me to bed. That was, so on the playing ground, we had one spinning wheel. Do you know what that is? It's a little, it looks like a platform like this, only it has a diameter of perhaps 3 meters, and it turns around. And as a child, you would get on the spinning wheel with your friends, hold on to your friends, and then as it was spinning faster and faster, you would be moved to the edge, and you would fall with a loud laughter from the edge on the ground. You know these, Gokula knows, no? Yeah? You remember? Yes. You remember? No? Life is often like this. Things are, I'm talking of changes in our lives, and you are easily thrown off the spinning wheel of life. It can happen in your spiritual life. You may be a very disciplined practitioner, but as life goes on, vroom, you come into a zone where you are not so interested in your bhakti sadhana. I talked today to a Mataji who expressed her desire to return back to her bhakti practices. No, it happens to every family when they have children, that so many unexpected things happen, and they may not be able to do what they used to do in their spiritual life. I think it happens to all of us, that this big spinning wheel of life throws us off unless we learn the secret of staying with it. I learned this, it's very simple. You have to somehow, in the beginning, go to the center of that spinning wheel. Then you have to just grab it like that. And the art is to not let it go. It's not that, as nice as your friends are, but if you grab onto them, they are in the same situation if they are not centered or connected with the center. If a friend is connected strongly to the center and you hold on to his arm or so on, then you can stay. So in Krishna consciousness, my dear devotees, many things will change on the spinning wheel of life. But if you learn, please listen to this attentively, to first of all identify your center and then stay with your center. Remain connected to it. Then you stand a chance to not fly off from the spinning wheel. And in preparation to this lecture or whatever it is, the presentation, I identified 3 ways to stay in your center. Very often we explain or we say, oh my God, I have so much knowledge about what I should do, but still I cannot do it. Do you feel this is relevant, Ramananda? Yes. I think if we would be able to act upon our knowledge, we would by now be self-realized souls, no? But it is very, very difficult to overcome this gap between knowing and then implementing it in our life. It's very difficult. And we either hesitate, or we are simply unable, or we feel a very strong pulling force. It comes from the material energy that pulls us away from our spiritual center. And our 1 thing or 2 things or 4 things that are very important for us, and then we are flying off the wheel. So I want to give you 3 ideas that have helped me, and I was very interesting to hear Keshava Maharaj mentioned this morning something similar. The first is you need to find an inspiring mission and vision in your life. Yes, there is the overall idea of becoming purified in Krishna consciousness and hopefully one day joining the Lord in his eternal Rasa Lila or going back to Godhead and so on. Yes, that vision is there and this mission is there, but it needs to be something that is very alive and not so much in the distance. Now, I want to give you an example. when I joined the temple in Hamburg, actually the first temple, we were in one temple, but then we went into a second temple in Kapitelbuschweg. That was the place, in that temple also George Harrison visited us, and I did a kirtan with George Harrison. Radhika Ranjan, I'm famous. You have not done, I have done. Joking. Yes, and I had two. So it's the temple. We all were there because we wanted to go back to Godhead. That was our idea why we had joined Prabhupada's movement. But I had two missions within this bigger mission. One was, you will like this, I was translating Prabhupada's books from English to German, the Bhagavad Gita. I was helping. I'm not so talented, but Veda Vyas at that time and myself, we were the translator of the German Bhagavad Gita. And my second mission, which I liked even more, was to clean the toilets of the ashram. I myself collected the Lakshmi for the cleaning agent, good soap and for the, let's not go so much in the detail, for some parts of the toilet, extra strong cleaning agents and the brushes and so on. And I was cleaning it in the evening, and I was cleaning it after the morning, when it was used. Toilet and bathroom were in one, so I was cleaning it in the evening. Then in the morning it was used by everyone, and then I cleaned it in the morning two times. And I became so convinced that I should do this because I had heard various stories from our tradition that devotees have done this to become humble. And I did it with that idea in mind because I could understand, due to my background, what I did before, I was not humble. I was the opposite. So I needed a mission within the bigger mission that was very concrete, translating. Then this service, and later I was, because the translation service grew and I didn't have so much time, but I was upgraded. I cooked once every week or twice every week, carrot halava. If you want to know how to cook carrot halava, well, my secret is simple. Put a lot of butter in, then it's all right. So I just want to give you an idea. I needed a vision. I could be inspired, and I liked to eat carrot halava first of all, and to make it was also nice. As every one of you, find a mission which you are burning, or like Keshava Maharaj said, the best alarm clock in the morning is what? Purpose. You have purpose to live. This is what I'm living for. And then you will rise up in the morning, although you may not be the best morning boy or morning girl, But if you have a purpose, I know for me when I need to travel, I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock, no problem, because it's something I'm interested in, to go to the next place and try to serve. So very often we hesitate to give everything we have because we lack an inspiring mission, a personal mission, a personal vision. And if we have it, my dear devotees, let us be very grateful, protect it, do our best to keep this going, because it's a gift of the Lord. Now, next to having a mission and a vision in your life, you also need a realistic plan how you would like to realize that. Let me give you an idea. Some of us are inspired about Vrindavan and Vrindavan Bhakti. No, we like the way the devotees in Vrindavan interact with Krishna, so personal, so loving, so close. No, and we may feel this. Oh, I would like to realize that. Then you must have a plan, a realistic plan, how you can come more into the Vrindavan consciousness. If you don't do anything, you will remain in Swiss consciousness or German consciousness or English consciousness. A realistic plan. Best is something you do every day without fail, that you feel brings you closer to your goal, is very good. Like I want to give you a personal example. I have seen that now where I have become a little older, my body is a little bit more exhausted and so on, and I'm thinking, oh no, it starts now. What will I do when in 30 years or so, when I'm 100, will I be able to do service and so on? And it has become clear to me to just sit on my chair and eat nice prasadam will not make me healthy in that time. So I have made a plan to every day do a certain series of exercises that will keep me fit and so on. And even if I'm coming to my room at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock in the evening, I'm doing these exercises because I'm absolutely sure that they help me to be healthy and fit. I needed to make the vision to be healthy and be able to render service. I needed to find something that I do regularly, because I do know what I do now is what I become later. This is the rule. This is the rule. It's actually the rule of sadhana. Whatever you do now, that is what you become later. So if you want to go to Vrindavan at the end of your life and become an assistant of Radharani or any like this, or a simple thing like being healthy, you need to find something that from your side shows that you are really interested in doing it, a realistic plan to which you stick. The third thing is, you may have an inspiring vision, you may have a good plan, but you still may not be able to change your old ways because your environment, that means the people with whom you associate, the type of work you do, if you're working, or the place where you live, may not feel empowering for you any longer. No? So you must create an empowering surrounding, something that inspires you, not inspires you, that empowers you, that gives you Shakti. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur talked about 3 things that each one of us needs in order to advance in their spiritual life. He said, no, he asked a little bit like a question. He said it in the question, how is it that a person who has received the seed of bhakti from a genuine spiritual master and who has learned the art of nourishing that seed so that it grows, how is it that he that he seems to not make advancement? How is that possible? It's a good question, isn't it? Some of you have eaten a good meal, so I will repeat this again so that the digestion is not coming into the way of understanding this. How is it that although we have received the seed of bhakti, means the understanding of bhakti, the idea of bhakti, the whole concept bhakti, and we have put it in our heart, and we know about the processes of to water it, shravanam and kirtanam, that we still seem to not make advancement? Is this a good question? Can you first of all understand the question? It's because the seed needs to be also placed into the right type of earth. What is he talking about? What is the right, in real life, what is the right surrounding? You must have good Vaishnava behavior. You cannot be envious on devotees or have bad thoughts about devotees. You have to do something for the benefit of others. You have to watch your satachar, your life habits. Only then the seed can grow. The seed of bhakti cannot grow in the heart of someone who is not creating the right environment by the right Vaishnava behavior. There's a Vaishnava satachar in Sanskrit. The achar behavior, sat means behavior that leads to the eternal life, no? And Vaishnava satachar is what devotees of Krishna do in terms of their behavior, which leads them to the eternal life. Then only it can work. So in my 3 points, which I want to give you, that hopefully are empowering, is try to create the right environment, the right life circumstances in your life, and you will naturally grow. I do know this when I come home to do book writing. I need a desk where things are not like after the explosion of the Hiroshima atom bomb. It needs to be things need to be in place, and then only I can write. In life also, you need to put things in place so that you can grow nicely. So, if you want to energize your spiritual practice, first of all, find an inspiring vision or mission. I have seen young devotees who have, it's just very young, not even longer in contact than a year or so, who've advanced very nicely because they found something that they could do, and they could feel a burning yes. Then, after your vision, you need to have a realistic plan how to put it into action. And finally, you must create an empowering environment. In Krishna conscious language is, to translate this, you must receive the seed of Krishna consciousness and be enthusiastic about it. You must act in the ways of spiritual sadhana, And finally, you must watch that your Vaishnav Satachar, that which holds you in your life, is all right. And then, whoa, the seed of your bhakti will go. My final statement to all of you is, and then I will summarize it, the greatest obstacle in your Krishna consciousness is Krishna consciousness. Ooh. That sounds like a statement which is in need of further explanation. No? It is when you think you know already that you are prevented from further learning. The greatest obstacle in your spiritual life is when you think, I don't need to learn anything more. That's the moment when you stagnate. Therefore, sometimes people say the greatest obstacles for faith is faith. That is, when you're living ecstatic conviction in Krishna consciousness and faith can be stopped if you have faith on a lower level and stay there. I find this is a great obstacle which I see around myself and see myself also sometimes in, that I stop being curious, that I stop being in a humble beginner's mind, a learner, because I think I do know everything. So the greatest obstacle of faith is not doubt. Doubt is good because you can work. It is thinking that you know everything already. Krishna consciousness is a spiritual science. Here in this world, we will always only know a little part of it. The spiritual truth is to be found in the heart of a self-realized soul. There is and until we are self-realized, let us remain learners, beginners, humble people who are on the greatest adventure this universe has in store for anyone. Hare Krishna. So there will be some people who will misinterpret what I say, so let me say it again in the language which also critics will be comfortable with. The greatest obstacle in spiritual life is pride. Pride in your knowledge and so on. And I think everyone can be comfortable with that way of saying it. Yeah, this is a little bit what I wanted to speak about. I will now open the forum for your questions, and I will then tell you a little bit the things you might like to know, how things from my service, my life, my everything. So let us see. Here is Jai Gopal.
Hare Krishna, Gurumaj. You spoke about the change. Life is changing, and sometimes life forces changes upon us.
Yeah.
And there's no bigger punishment if we don't realize this change.
Yeah, we will be forced.
And then you also spoke about the first step of finding a vision, a mission, like which may be connected to change in life, where we realize, oh, I need to find a new, or actually I really now finally need to find that mission which inspires me where I'm in the proper environment. And how much do we work our own of finding what Krishna wants, or do we also, are we being patient and having the faith that actually Krishna will come and show us where to go? What is the balance, or how do we proceed in such a life situation?
Yes, I have seen many also disciples who knew, and we had discussed this amongst ourselves, that certain things, now you are no longer a child, where you can do things as children do, understand things as children understand, and so on. And I could see when they were not on their own making the changes, then the change was forced upon them. Often they became ill, and they couldn't continue what they did, just physical illness. That's one way in which nature turns on the volume, so to say, turns up the volume. So your question is, how do we know how to respond to this change? I think we all can somehow understand. Historically, we live in a time of transition. There's something is changing. There's by this, there are wars now. There are which were not there before. Something also changes in the atmosphere between people, I've seen. They are more insecure, and often on slight provocation, people feel the changes coming like the cows in the barn feel when a tornado is coming. Some feel, I have to change something in my approach, but what exactly? And which way should I go, please? Jai Gopal, I will give you now a very personal answer, the way how I deal with this. I somehow was a big planner in my life. And I have seen that I would rather like to know what is Krishna's plan than what is my plan. And now the question is how to find that out. And 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was on one of these points in my life where I could either go left and right, and I just didn't know what is Krishna's plan or what is the best. At that time, I visited a devotee who is a much older devotee than I am and much more advanced. And I said, can you help me? Can you tell me if I should go left or right or straight or west or south or north? And he said, I can teach you a way how to find that out, but I will not tell you left, right, south, north. I said, yeah, please, teach me. And he explained to me that, see, the greatest illusion is, which we conditioned souls have, that we control this world, that we control. Krishna is the controller. And what a devotee does is, he follows Krishna's advice to Arjuna at the end of the Bhagavad Gita. Let us just for a moment go in this situation. In 10 minutes, a terrible war would break loose, and Arjuna would have to use all his military skills. It didn't look so good for the Pandavas because the other side had powerful teachers like Dronacharya, Bhishma, elders who were really superior Kshatriyas. They had finances, they had, I'm not good at mathematics, they have 7 Ukshahinis of military, and the Pandavas had only 5. I hope I remember correctly, but they were vastly, they outnumbered, the opposite side outnumbered the Pandavas. So 10 more minutes. Arjuna, in the beginning, did not want to fight. This was too entangling, too difficult. And then Krishna gives him one of his concluding messages. And Arjuna hears it, and he keeps it in his mind throughout the whole Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata battle, and he turns out victorious. This message, I'm not thinking of Savadamam Parichata, I'm thinking of Machita Savadhogan. Ni mat prasada tarishyati. In English, become conscious in your consciousness of me, and then by my grace you will overcome all the obstacles of material life. You can find this verse of the Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter, verse 58. It's by Krishna's grace that you will know which way to go and overcome your obstacles. So when you don't know, increase your consciousness of Krishna. Come out of your childlike ways of understanding and become situated in an adult form of Krishna consciousness. And Krishna from within will show you. At the same time, let me repeat this. At the same time, remain curious what options you see. But then Krishna will show you from within, this Jai Gopal is your way. And dig under your cherry tree, there is a gold treasure. He will, in other words, make it financially work also. I'm very much convinced of this. This has, since I heard it, I don't know, did I say 2 years back? It's 4 years back. It's a little more back. I try to make the thing. Today something has happened. We are writing this meditational book, and we made a decision to really focus more on writing, to give this more of a priority. And the same time when this decision was made, a message comes, we need your meditation for our school system. We need to teach the children. Bang! Wow! This is given by Krishna, an unmistakable sign that this is a good way to go. Keep on writing your meditation book. So I just want to say, I was in the situation, Krishna, I don't have the time to finish it. I feel I'm getting old. Soon I will be 100 years. I want to become 110 years old, and with full memory of the good things in life. But we also want this, so let us not give in to weakness. But all I can do is, my dear Lord, I can pray to you, I can try to become more conscious of you, I can make my sadhana steady where it needs to be steadied, and so on. And by becoming aware of Krishna, everything is done. I'm convinced of this. If you have faith in this, it will work, Jai Gopal. If you have faith, and if you don't have faith in this, it will not work. It's so simple. You have to make up your mind where to place your faith, no? Or you can also, because I think no one of us has 100% surrender to Krishna. Therefore, it's good to also, on our level, check all the alleys which are open for us, and wherever they are open for us. Any other question you have? Anadi Radha, yes?
Hare Krishna. You said, if you let me in your heart, I will be able to do something there. Maybe you answered already my question, but I didn't understand. Please forgive me. I want to ask how that letting in practically happens. Like what disciple should do from his side.
This is something that Prabhupada said to us, and I have noted in my attempts to serve Prabhupada that sometimes I'm open to him, and sometimes I have that tendency, let me do things on my own. I had this as a child, you know. I would go with my grandfather, whom I very much appreciated, and we would go on walks, long walks, where he would teach me if I let him teach me. So the scenario was also always like this. We left the house of the grandparents. My grandfather had me on his hand, and we started to walk. But I was very small. I don't know how small, 4 years maybe. And then I would scream, can alleine, you know, can alone. Children speak not very clear. Can alone. In sensible language, it means I can walk alone, Grandpa. And I would tear my hand out of his big hand, and he knew, anyways, hopeless. If I keep him, he would scream and be nasty and impossible, so I better let him go. And I remember I would always run, and my grandfather, when I became grown up, he told me this. I would always, for some time, say, can alone. And then, when the first dog, especially German shepherds, turned up, I ran back to my grandfather. I put my hand back in his hand. I think we all have this mood in relationship to guidance. Sometimes we feel, I can do it alone. I want to do it alone. It's not really, it doesn't have to be a protest or a conscious turning away. It's just exercising our independence, which has also its place in spiritual life. It's good. We do this. For many things it's good, but there are things when it's necessary to walk under guidance. Like in my analogy, German shepherds, when they were very wild and aggressive. Now they are not, because it's forbidden to keep such German shepherds. But children were often in our neighborhood had troubles with these big dogs. So there was a time I made the right decision to return. So my my thing is my experience is in relationship to Prabhupada as a disciple, I still have this can alone, and it is sometimes appropriate, and at other times it is not appropriate. And to find out when it's when, that you have to. That I think life learns. Let me give you an example. I can pour water into this amazing cup when the cup is in this position, right? I can't do it now because there's something in, but if it's turned upside down with this side to here, water cannot go in. So our hearts are like this. When we are not looking actively for help of our spiritual master, he can't do much for us. He may be able to pray from the distance. I hope this changes. But if we have closed our heart, then there will be a pause in our communication, which will be the pause will stop and become good again when we can find a way to be open again. Sorry, you can see I'm a little simple man. I can only use such examples, but I think it's clear. May I drink a little? Good. Purushottam Krishna, we have a microphone for you, then it's easier for everyone to hear. Ich glaube, man muss das so. Ja, richtig.
You mentioned the greatest obstacles in our spiritual life or making progress can be our knowledge or faith or pride in our knowledge. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering, in my meditative practices with others and myself, sometimes I'm reaching areas of knowledge we don't know we have, topics, wounds, traumas, different patterns. So these are also greatest obstacles maybe, or also big obstacles, what we don't know. Mm-hmm. And in the subconscious, it's somehow lingering there. And I wonder how we can more access this, or if we have access to this, how to integrate this in our life. These blind spots,
These
perhaps.
blind spots, yeah.
Finding them, and what we find out, how we can make best use of this knowledge then. That this doesn't become an obstacle, like fear, for example, or things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is definitely a fact that each one of us brings a whole rucksack, do we say in English? Backpack of things into the life, traumas, disappointments, and so on and so forth. And they do influence our decision making. They influence with whom we feel well, with whom we don't feel well. They influence a lot. We are a lot of the time guided by forces within that we don't even recognize as such. It is a fact. I will confess here something. When I was young, I was troubled with the fact that I had often not an optimistic mindset, but was very, you could call it inner darkness was there. I was troubled by this, and because I wished my life to be uncomplicated and so on, but it was not, and my personality was difficult and so on. And I looked for various solutions. At that time, the most prominent psychology, yes, was Sigmund Freud. He had published 24 volumes. At least I knew only of Sigmund Freud. And I studied the whole work of him with interest. And for a young person to do this, it's such technical language. And so, but I was very invested in this. And when I came to Krishna consciousness, I asked, do you have anything like psychotherapy, or how to deal with the mind? And I asked this. I didn't, and I didn't find one answer with the devotees. So I had to explore this on my own. And what are the results of my exploration is that the Chitta, or consciousness of the living being, is like a mirror, and if it's clean from these things and other things that you have mentioned, and then it can reflect Krishna. It is meant to reflect Krishna. Manmohan, the one who fascinates the mind, no? Who's just next. But if it is covered, it cannot reflect God any longer. And I understood this and wanted to understand what is the way of uncovering the consciousness. And I think I told you, and you means all of you, that when I was perhaps 20 years into Krishna consciousness, I came to a crisis because I had seen these things had not changed. I was still troubled, so to say. Troubled is a strong weight. Inner darkness was there. And I thought, well, this process doesn't work for me. There is no change, really. There's a change in dress, yes, but I still compete with others. I want to be the best in anything, and even if it's in fasting, and so on. All these drives of an ordinary conditioned soul are there, and I wanted to leave the movement because it didn't work for me. But something had happened. I underestimated it. I loved Prabhupada somehow. I had faith in him. His example was convincing for me. And I made a second study of his teachings. Not so much in terms of philosophy, but in practice. How do you practice this? And the result of my investigation was that you need to learn to chant the holy name. I'm saying consciously, you need to learn to chant the holy name. If you think you know how to do this, this is your biggest obstacle in your spiritual life. I'm still learning again with great interest because I'm aware I need to approach the holy name with a humble state of mind, not I know it all. So, and for me, I have seen two things. I placed my faith into learning to chant. Not chanting, chanting also, but first learning to chant. And I'm aware it never stops my learning process. It will not stop because the holy name is so big and I'm so small. What can an ant hope to understand of of a book, or the contents of a book, or so on. So I'm learning, and simultaneously I'm convinced of Mahaprabhu's path. He speaks of certain weeds, Unkrautpflanzen, that need to be uprooted, or you need to have a check on them. And there are few devotees where I check in regularly, and they do give me excellent feedback. I needed to make a relation, and they needed to make a relationship to me where we were very comfortable with each other, and also very comfortable and not insecure when we received a feedback like, I think you need to watch this area more of your life, and that has helped me very much. I try to see myself where it is, but sometimes we have these blind spots, if you correctly have seen. So such relationships, my dear devotees, if you can find devotees who are talking to you, their observation with the idea to help you, not to get on your nerves, and that is such a treasure. It's such a treasure, because nowadays I have observed people in general are so insecure that when they hear something, they think, oh, we are not loved, we are not liked, and they feel this feedback is worse than death for them. But if you find people with whom you are comfortable, and who do this work for you, be grateful, be grateful. So 2 things. I'm convinced my psychotherapy is chanting, and that is cleansing the mirror from all these things. I believe that Gesprächstherapie, talk where you are pointed out where the mistakes are, where the traumatized life have value, but only a limited value. Because how do you get it out? For that you need a very powerful process, and that's the Lord Himself He can do this. But if you think you just chant and you don't watch yourself where you need improvement, that will never work. You have to watch. You have to and best is you find someone who says, "Here's a weed. Here's a weed." He may not say it like that, but who's pointing it out? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for this very important question. Yes, anyone else? Govinda. Do you all know Govinda? He is Govinda. There are two Govindas here. Govinda, das ist auch ein Govinda. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. At the beginning of your talk today, you had mentioned that sometimes Krishna sends you messages through nature and through animals and different things like that. And on Monday, I was thinking something similar, because Krishna was sending me a lot of messages through all the flies in the room. The flies, you're having this very nice lecture going on, and you're sitting there, you're listening, and then there's tickling and buzzing in your ears and all these different things. And these flies are quite relentless. Like, you'll try and brush them away, and they keep coming back, And listening to what you were saying about having a vision and having a goal and a plan and things like that, I think what I'm having difficulty with is not the plan, but it's more keeping up enthusiasm when distractions come and when frustrations come. And I was thinking maybe I should be like these flies where it's like you're coming back and coming back. Even if you're getting waved away, then you have to come back and you have to keep coming back. But I wanted to ask you how you felt about keeping enthusiasm at a high level. Because sometimes it's very easy, okay, I'm very enthusiastic, but sometimes enthusiasm is like down here, you know?
Thank you so much. Yes. Yes, so Govinda teaches us how we can even learn from the Shiksha Gurus, the flies. By the way, in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam, it is said one doesn't learn the truth just from one guru, but from many Shiksha Gurus. And do you remember the example there in the 11th canto? It's the Avaduta Brahmin who learns from the earth, from various animals, 24 altogether. No? This is not a speculation, it is it's from the 11th canto. So your question is more specific even, how to keep the enthusiasm high. You need to feed it so that it remains strong. What is the protein food for enthusiasm, or what is it called? Superfood for the enthusiasm. I think in one way, good sangha, not sangha where you hang out, and I mean that's sometimes important also. I'm not speaking against it. I personally derive a lot of enthusiasm when I hear Prabhupada speak. In Germany there was a record company, I forgot the names, but they had a motto. It showed a little dog who was next to a gramophone, that's a record player, which had one of these old horns, and he was sitting there and listening to the voice which came from the gramophone, and it said his master's voice. The idea was we make such good records that it sounds just like the real person, and therefore the dog will obey it. It's his master's voice. That is their idea. So I always feel like this when I sit and hear Prabhupada. This image comes, I'm sitting there through the groove. It's like a horn-like structure, no? You hear him and, yes. Also, I must say I had a wonderful realization, You must know Shastra comes into this world to wake us up, this scripture. And I wanted to go deeper into one scriptures, and I heard about this Bhagavatam course. And then I heard the first session of that Bhagavatam course. This is from the Gauranga Darshan, the Vidyapit, some Bhaktivedanta Vidyapit. And on the first session, you have to be really concentrated because it goes verse by verse. First session, I had just taken so much notes. I was just I said like this, whoosh, that was an avalanche. And then I said to myself, where have I been all these years? I have not had this contact with the Bhagavatam, and I became very enthusiastic. I was really, for half an hour, I was like, where have I been all this time? So you need to find the sources of the superfood enthusiasm. What works for Govinda? Is it perhaps like your family likes kirtan? Is it, or are you more a philosopher like your auntie? Or are you perhaps more, what makes you enthusiastic? You have to find out. And there are all the things. There are always things which work. But you have to search. I feel you have to search and not give up when you have a few failures. That I learned in life also. Never give up finding a solution. When you give up, you will not find the solution, but when you keep on trying, health-wise, life-wise, never give up, and then Krishna gives you. Sometimes he may let you wait for a year or so. He wants to see, are you determined? Yeah, the superfood for enthusiasm you won't get in Walmart or what is it called? You know, these mega shopping centers. You have to search a little. But if you don't nourish enthusiasm in this world, it is always going down. It has this curve. The natural way of this world is that enthusiasm declines, energy declines, inspiration declines. You need to always feed it to keep it high. I even watched that in Srila Prabhupada, but I don't want to interpret him. But you know, when I watched I was before his room in the temple, and I was the guard. That means I would tell the devotees to walk, please, to not make noise on the corridor, but oh yeah, take. So what I noticed is when he was all alone, he would sing bhajan. He had that, you would hear the harmonium, da, 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 and then he would sing, and I don't know. I don't know if he did this to keep up his enthusiasm. I doubt that it is like this. I think it because he was a soul who was already there in pure Krishna consciousness. It's more that his love poured out. Still, he would say that he enjoyed certain discussions and certain, but see, it's best is not to speculate about Prabhupada, because he's in a different category than we, a liberated soul, a Chitta, perfected soul. Good. I will just see. We have 7 more minutes. 7 more minutes. Yes. Maybe I conclude here. Ready? Good. Maybe I conclude here. I wanted to just, many devotees always ask, is there any news about you? Yes, there is news. A little while ago, I began to take more care of my health, and it goes very well. I'm really moving up again. After I was in a little hole. I could only go by willpower, but the body was finished. But now it's coming back. I'm very happy in this state of my life. I often remember when Prabhupada was asked, and when does it work? When is the result there? And Prabhupada said, after 50 years. So I feel like this. My life is so full of gifts at the time. Just gifts, where things work out so nicely that I can only say Krishna is behind everything. Yes. What else is there to say? Yes, I talked today to a devotee, and I said, so how is it going? And the devotee started to talk to me, and then he said, I feel this is old news, so if I repeat myself again and again, no need. Everything goes well, and so on. I have just one little worry or anxiety, to be very truthful with you, it is, I feel called to begin talking about what has developed the last 20 years in my heart. That is an area of devotional service which you would call in academic terms the contemplative way. That is, it's where you're more, how to say this, in Krishna conscious words, mindful of Krishna and his world and his activities. You're more mindful and living there in your mind and in your devotional feelings. So that's an area which, let me say, big preaching movements like ours do not put so much emphasis on, because they want to reach the masses, and this we do very much through kirtan. Now you must know there are devotees who do kirtan who reach millions of people by this, and this is the Yuga Dharma, that's the way to do. But I somehow feel deep in my heart that all these people who are coming in contact, and also the maybe a large percentage of the devotees in the Krishna consciousness movement, they want to actually experience Krishna consciousness, what it means to be in your consciousness with Krishna, that nectar, that bliss. No? They want to be nourished like this. And I certainly want this, and I want to carefully present this. There's a meditation book for the outside world, and then a book which I might call Smaranam, the art of devotional meditations, which I have already, half of it is also done. But if I continue just visiting places, preaching and so on, I feel this anxiety that I might not be able to have the time to present this, and that is a big anxiety, because not big and not that I need to go to a doctor because of this, but it is in the heart. It is. I feel called to do this. I feel Krishna gives signs. I have to do this. I have to move on, and of course I'm thinking of all of you. I hope you will see things as grown-ups in your spiritual life, act like this, and so on. But that is not a worry. You're doing very, as far as I can see, you are motivated, and that's the most important thing, that you have this desire to move. Dobro, good. I will now finish here, because I have a few devotees I have to talk to. Madan Mohan must have informed those devotees, and if they could come here, please. And then at 4:30 I will continue with a very nice description of Queen Kunti, and a great surprise. I can't talk about it. Hare Krishna. So, Ramananda.